Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the top 5 shields in Borderlands 4 and where to farm them. So some of them are very powerful, like this shield here, when we do a slam attack, will add 40% extra shock damage to our attacks, powering us up greatly. There's also some others here that I don't see a lot of people talking about and are quite underrated, but I'll be first starting off with some honorable mentions, first starting with the Guardian Angel. Now, this is a fan favorite because whenever you go into Fight for Your Life, it allows you, whenever Fight for Your Life expires, you get a free second wind every 300 seconds. This is great for solo play, but its limits are kind of limited really to that, as further in the game, there's going to be a lot greater shields, but this can roll with some of the most powerful shield benefits, like the Siphon there, which has a 10% chance whenever you deal damage to gain overshield. This is really good on fast fire rate guns. Another favorite, the Fireworks. Unfortunately, this isn't as good as a lot of the others on here. This is probably the best for just general mobbing because whenever you take out an enemy, it's going to spawn missiles that home in and do upwards of 7,000 damage each. There's a lot of ways to increase the overall damage that will come from these, most notably like Rafa's indirect projectiles and his red skill tree. But this is just really great, and you can farm this one from the Splash Zone, which is the first place you can farm in the game. So it's a favorite for a lot, and it's great for mobbing, but we have better ones here. And as much as I really wanted to include the heavyweight on this list, it's just not as good. And melee builds, unfortunately, in Borderlands are not great because there's a lot of enemies with long-range weapons. Since Krieg, there hasn't really been a really great melee build in the game. So this one, whenever you get hit, whenever you do a melee hit, you can consume one of the armor segments to deal increased melee damage by 100%. And when you have no shield, it gives you a plus 50% damage in your melee. This is great on the blue skill tree aim on, but overall, there's a lot better shields here. So for our shield in 5th place, we have the Protean Cell here. Now, this is the one that I showed off at the start of the video. Why it's so good is the direct current ability that comes with it. And it's a little bit glitched, which I'll get into. So you ground slam, and whenever you do this, so just jump up into your ground slam attack, you're going to drain your shield over time. This isn't too much of a worry though. And it'll give you 40% bonus shock damage. This is huge because that's a 40% boost to your damage, and that also gets applied from some different damage riders. So yeah, this is extremely powerful, and the bonus is damage taken passes through the shield. This is great because there's lots of ways to get lifesteal in Borderlands 4, so it's actually not going to drain your shield, which has a pretty large capacity. I find that these ones typically are going to be closer to the 20k size at level 50. And the big thing about this is whenever you hurt yourself and it hurts your health bar instead of your shield, if you have something like Vex's lifesteal, especially I don't have it in the green skill tree, but her one here, which applies the lifesteal on kinetic damage, this can be very good. And pretty much every class mod in the game has a lifesteal variant, like this one here has 10% lifesteal on all damage. So if you pair this with lifesteal, this is extremely powerful, just giving you a plus 40% damage. And while the shield is active, you're going to get resistant elemental damage with the resistant. There's a lot of good rolls that you can get on this shield as well. And this is good too because the damage passes through the shield, so you're always going to have the shield active to get that elemental damage resist. And this is on top of the other resistance that comes with the shield of 15%. So yeah, if you want to activate it, you're just going to double jump up, slam the ground. You're going to see the shield starts to drain there. And when we get damage, it's going to go through it. But you can see the blue numbers there added onto the Hot Slugger. It's a pretty good boost to the damage. Not doing anything crazy here, but you're going to see that when I get damage, it's going through to my red health bar, which is fine because I got lifesteal, so I'm not too concerned. And with this class mod, I also get lifesteal onto my shields to give myself overshield. And to turn this off, you can just slam the ground again. Another cool interaction with this is actually if you lose your shield at the same moment that you slam, it gives you the 40% damage boost. It doesn't restore your shield, but you get the boost anyway. So it's kind of cool on those specific builds that want to utilize that. And to get yourself one for yourself, we're actually going to come over here. It's not actually easy to find. You're going to go to the Crawlcroft bunker here, and then you're going to go through and fight Fractus. There is a Moxie's Big Encore, so you can keep fighting it over and over again. Now in 4th place, we got a very interesting one with the Onion Shield. So like onions, it has layer. And you don't have to cry about it. So it is the Shallot Shield. So every time that an armor segment breaks, it grants you immunity to damage for 2 seconds. Now, there's a little asterisk here. I've seen a lot of people asking about this on videos, and this only counts. Let's say you got hit with an attack that this shield has 10,000 damage. Let's say that you got hit with an attack that has 10,000 damage. It'll give you immunity for damage for 2 seconds, but it doesn't give you, the rest of the health bar. You lost all the health bar in that one shot, so then you lose that ability. Let's say you got hit for 50k, you then get the 2 seconds of immunity, and then if you get hit again and it breaks, you get another 2 seconds of immunity. So it's a little bit tricky in how it works. However, that immunity to damage is really nice, especially if you take smaller shots. In Ultimate Vault Hunter 5, this does make things a little bit more tricky because, yeah, you're likely going to lose your entire shield in one attack or 2 attacks, but Otherwise, it's still really good. And what's nice about the onion shield too is if you use any, like, there was a technique where you could use the Jacob's crit knife on an exploding weapon that chains around multiple enemies and usually takes yourself out, and you can half survive with the onion shield, but sometimes the damage was way too high for it. But in essence, this is a really effective shield because while I have overhealed shield here, I'm just going to take some damage. You get that immunity, and yeah, you're sitting good whenever you got that. You don't have to worry too much. I'm trying to take enough damage so that we get the immunity there. This build is just really good and has crazy amounts of life steal. There we go. We got the immunity going, and then we got our shield back. So on a lifesteal build like Vex's, this is really powerful because you can just regenerate your shield by doing your normal attacks. Again, the class one I'm using is the Teen Witch. Whenever we have our full health, our lifesteal will apply to shields and overshield. So yeah, these pair together extremely well, making you almost immortal. I also like this on Amon as he has an ability, especially with the class mod, that gives him an extra forge skill use. He gets 6 seconds of immunity after using a forge skill, so he can use his forge skill, wait the 6 seconds, have that immunity, break an armor segment of the onion, get 2 more seconds of immunity, and then use his action skill or his forge skill again to get 6 more seconds of immunity, and then another 2 seconds, and then potentially 2 more and 2 more. So he can become very tanky with this. I just think the onion's a really good shield, so I wanted to include it here. And if you want to get yourself an onion as layers 2, you go to Sludge Mima here at Monksy's Big Encore, so the Sludge Ma boss, yeah, and you just farm it there. In third place, you probably expected this one. This is a very interesting shield. There's always a version of this in every Borderlands game. This is the Beninu. When equipped, you get a plus 7,436 maximum health, plus health regeneration, and reduces damage taken by 33%. That's effectively extending your health bar much further than what it says here. Now, where this becomes really handy, there's a particular few builds in this game. I wouldn't recommend using the Shielded Teen Witch. You can get overshield with this shield, which is kind of funny, but it doesn't work as well here as going with something like Vex's Undead Eye. So killing an enemy with a sniper rifle will trigger the bloodshot. Critically hitting an enemy with a sniper rifle has a 33% chance to get trigger bloodshot. And a little head note on this, you use a bod shotgun. The bod shotgun counts as a sniper too, so it actually applies to this. I got this really good class mod here with 40% kinetic and 45% sniper rifle damage. This becomes crazy. So bloodshot does 10% of your current health. And when you get this leveled up, if you get a +5, which is possible from that class mod, so 100% of your current health, this is where it all ties back around to the Timekeeper's new shield, because this gives you a big boost to your overall health, which when paired with that can do crazy amounts of damage. I think that's the most min-max way to use the Timekeeper's new shield. But honestly, getting rid of a shield and just going full on health and doing lifesteal is crazy. I know that Harlow has a pretty decent lifesteal skill tree. She actually has a class one that gives her 10% lifesteal as well. So this can work well because that just removes a shield. You don't have to think about your shield. And then it goes well with that class mod that I mentioned. But yeah, the Timekeeper's new shield is interesting. It does lead to some different playstyles because you're not going to have a shield. I don't know why it had a shield on there, but now we're back to not having a shield. Lifesteal is really good because even with this class mod, it applies a lesser amount to the shields. So with this, yeah, I got the overshield appearing there. It's kind of confusing. But you literally become invincible with this because you reduce your damage taken by 33%. And then there's other skill tree benefits that, like, Rafa can reduce damage taken while in his overdrive by 30%, becoming pretty much immortal with his shield. This is a really good one and one worth checking out, especially if you're doing that Rafa build with ricochets, because you can utilize this shield to basically get all the lifesteal from your indirect projectiles, stay alive forever. This works on pretty much any character in the game, so that's why we're putting the Timekeeper's new shield in third place. And as you can probably guess, the Timekeeper's new shield you get from Timekeeper. So yeah, also a Emperor New Groove reference on that one. Now the final ones on this list were very difficult, but in second place, we got the Super Soldier here. So this one's interesting. When your energy shields are full, you get an overshield. And when your energy shield is full, you get a 25% increase to your fire rate, movement speed, and you regenerate 1 ammunition per second, which is pretty good actually. And when equipped, you also get maximum health from this shield in particular. Why that's good? Well, if you have a shield with full shield capacity, you can move around and zip around the battlefield really quickly. That movement speed increase is really nice, so you got that there. You also can shoot faster, you regenerate ammo, so on certain guns, this can be really good, because then you're just going to be continuously getting ammunition. You can see there it's regenerating. Just really depends on the gun that you're using, but yeah, anytime that you can recover bullets, that's always a good thing. So it's pretty strong, all things considered. This is a shield that's just really general use, getting that increased fire rate and movement speed. Movement speed is such a luxury in Borderlands 4 that I think that this makes it a pretty useful shield overall. I just don't think there's anything special with it. I was actually going to put this in third place. I was debating the Timekeeper's new shield just brings unique game play styles to the game, whereas this one, I feel like it just lacks a little bit of something interesting. It is a good shield, obviously, giving yourself those extra bonuses. But yeah, this is one that I think is a bit boring overall, but still a really good shield. And it does have a decently high capacity. And to get yourself a super soldier, you're going to fight one of the most annoying bosses in the entire game with Vile Lictor to get one for yourself. Now for first place, I actually have two because one is extremely annoying and the other one is unique for specific style playthroughs. The first one I'll mention is the annoying one with Cinder Shelly. If you've heard anything about this shield, you'll know it's annoying as heck. So with this, it has a glass ability, which is actually really good. So whenever you take damage, you reduce damage taken by 2% per stack. You can get 25 stacks for 50% damage reduction. This is pretty good. When the Inner shield breaks, you release a Nova that deals 7,000 damage, and then each stack of Resolve increases the damage by 20%. So for the quick math there, that is basically 5 times the amount of damage whenever you have full stacks. So with that, that's decent damage, like 40k damage for the explosion. It's really the damage reduction that's huge. But you can get a lot of really good rolls on this as well. The shield capacity is very high, but the big thing is getting that damage reduction. Damage reduction in Borderlands 4 is really nice. As mentioned, like Rafa's got the ability to reduce damage by 30% while he's in his overdrive. He's got abilities to basically stay in overdrive forever. So he can get a 80% damage reduction, which is absolutely nuts. You're going to hear the shield talk to you. That's why I'm going to be talking and not letting you listen to its annoying talk. Because it can be off-putting for some people, and that's why I didn't want to include this as my true best. But just getting this ability alone, like, I'll just let them damage me. You can see the little golden stacks down by the health bar right beside my head there. I got 25 of them currently. Every time you get hit, you now take 50%. You're now taking 50% less damage. It's crazy how fast you can proc these. Yeah, now we're taking half damage, which is just absurd. So this is a really good shield just in general. I don't think people realize how good this shield is just because it's annoying and they probably aren't giving it a shot. But getting a 50% damage reduction is very nice. And the speed in which you get this is very quick too. So yeah, we can take these attacks full on because we're not getting hit very hard by it. So yeah, I would have to say that the Cinder Shelly is probably the most defensive shield in the game. And two, whenever you have this shield break, that Nova is going to be the highest damage Nova in the game as well. So this is a very good shield, despite being a little bit annoying. You can also get a lot of really good rolls on it. You can get the capacity for 25% more capacity. You can get the spike whenever you take melee damage, you do an explosion. This gives plus melee damage and movement speed when the shield's empty. But it can get so many different rolls that it's just worth getting. And if you want to get yourself your own Cinder Shelly for whatever reason, you can go find this at the back hive here, Boxy's Big Encore, and you just fight this boss. It's actually really easy to fight, and you can get yourself one from here. The last shield was very defensive for first place. This is the first place for, this again is more so for specific builds. However, this is more offensive. It's got a smaller shield capacity with the watts for dinner, but the overshield eater is really good. So when the inner shield is active, enemies have a 12% chance to drop an overshield when hit. The overshield is active. It grants 25% extra shock damage. As mentioned, Vex's Teen Witch is great because we get Life Steal that applies to overshield, so then we get the 25% extra shock damage. In most builds, you want this shield because you're getting a huge boost to your overall damage. 25% extra damage is massive. This is furthermore, you can get the Siphon on it. As mentioned, Siphon is super good. Whenever dealing damage, there's a 10% chance to get the overshield. So we can get overshield from damaging enemies. They're going to drop off enemies. And when damaging enemies, 5% chance to get 20% damage reduction for 5 seconds. This is really likely to occur too, especially with fast-firing weapons. So those are just luck. You get different rolls on it, but it gives you resistance to light or shock damage as well. And really the big thing is that extra overshield. So with this shield equipped, we're going to try and get ourselves overshield as quickly as possible so that we get that extra damage off. Because yeah, it's just going to be so much more powerful. You can see there we now have blue numbers whenever we deal damage there. Our gun also gets a little bit of a blue glow too, so it shows that we're dealing the extra damage there. Extra 25% damage is nice. So if you have a gun that deals 100 damage, that's an extra 25 on it, which is huge. And then all the extra damage buffs apply to it as well. So yeah, this can become really crazy because it's additive and it actually becomes very high. So if you get something to increase your gun damage by 40%, that's also going to increase your shock damage too. So this becomes very powerful very quickly. And this also works on a variety of different builds, on different weapons, different setups. I, again, really like playing this with Vex here, but it gives you some extra shock damage. And if you're using her green skill tree with I'm not, it gives you a way to break through shields without having to expend anything else on it, and without having to change your weapons, because shock damage will end up dealing quite a bit of damage from that. So yeah, the Watts for Dinner is possibly the best offensive shield. Cinder Shelly is the best defensive, so just want to split those that way there because they're specific to each playstyle. And this is a tough one to farm, but you're going to go to the Arc of Origo. What's, I guess, also good is this is going to be the quickest XP farm as well in the game, so you can get yourself one of these Watts for Dinners and get yourself leveled up to level 50. So that is the top 5 best shields in Borderlands 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button below. Let me know what Borderlands 4 content you'd like to see next. I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.